No candidate in the history of American politics has been as divisive as Donald Trump. The former businessman is mocked in the media as a national joke, an idiot who keeps putting his foot in his mouth. But, at the very least, he isn't as overtly crooked as Hillary Clinton. If only it were that simple. Donald J. Trump, it turns out, has been involved in some fairly dodgy business over the previous few decades. First and foremost, Trump University was never a university. This is significant because it is illegal in New York State to refer to your firm as a university if it is not one. Second, you should be aware that it was a con firm committed to defrauding individuals out of millions of dollars. TU is a typical bait-and-switch strategy, according to some. All of the programs were designed to entice students to enroll in costly seminars where they would learn Trump's personal skills. The whole session consisted of persuading them to sign up for a $35,000 mentorship program once they arrived. Those who participated in the program allegedly learned little more than general approaches and never met Trump directly. In fact, TU misrepresented itself so terribly that the New York Attorney General's office has filed a lawsuit against the candidate. The Donald J. Trump Foundation is a unique charitable organization. It doesn't always go to beneficial causes with the money it raises. Trump has already spent the money on extravagant presents for himself. In one occasion, Trump spent $20,000 from the foundation to purchase a 2-meter-high artwork of himself. There is no definition of the term charity that involves purchasing Donald Trump paintings for Donald Trump. It would be one thing if the charity was funded with Trump's own funds. It isn't the case. Other benefactors are the sole source of funding for the charity. The foundation's founder hasn't donated since 2008, which is unusual for a nonprofit. Instead, Trump has taken use of the foundation's nonprofit designation to solicit gifts from other wealthy individuals. Then he donates these gifts to other charity, giving himself the appearance of being charitable. He even received an award for donating $150,000 to a police group, despite the fact that every penny came from the Evans Foundation. Trump bought a building in Central Park in 1981 with the intention of demolishing it and turning it into condos. The residents were adamant about not moving. Trump retaliated by acting like a dreadful landlord. Trump turned off the heat and hot water for 5 years, even during the harsh New York winters. He was adamant about not repairing the leaks. He let a rat infestation grow out of control. He instructed the building management to keep an eye on the occupants. Every day at 7 a.m., he authorized a construction crew to begin work immediately above an apartment where an elderly woman was dying of cancer. He did nothing when she protested. When Trump chose to shelter homeless individuals in the structure, things became even more weird. Residents said it was a ruse to evict them. The case ended up in court, and Trump finally relented. He now claims that the incidents never happened. Deporting illegal immigrants is one of Trump's trademark ideas. Trump, on the other hand, intentionally hired illegal Poles to help build Trump Tower in the 1980s. This is something Trump denies. However, multiple witnesses, including an FBI informant, have testified under oath that Trump was aware that he was employing illegal aliens. They allege he forced them to labor 7 days a week in a risky setting without safety equipment and failed to pay them even the meager $5 an hour he offered. Trump went to tremendous measures to make life as difficult as possible for his employees. He threatened to report them to the Immigration and Naturalization Service and deport them if they protested at one point. Many people were forced to sleep on the job site. Things only got better when the Poles threatened to sue for a share of the building's ownership. Donald Trump's campaign has received contributions from a wide range of people. The majority of them undoubtedly anticipated their donations would go toward defeating Hillary Clinton in November. Few of them anticipated Trump to spend their money on his own book, which cost $55,000. To be fair, some well-known authors have been known to acquire 500 copies of their current book in bulk. They do not, however, employ presidential campaign funding or purchase between 3,000 and 5,000 copies at retail. The retail price detail is significant because it implies that Trump may have used campaign funding to place his book on the New York Times bestsellers list. At the very least, it's egotistical. At the very least, Trump may have hoped to profit from the royalties. According to the Daily Beast, he was doing just that, which would be highly unlawful. Throughout his campaign, Trump has been accused of lying several times. That's one thing to hear it from a random website. It's one thing to hear an admission directly from Trump's lips. Trump was asked to authenticate the validity of various earlier remarks under oath in a 2007 legal lawsuit. He eventually admitted that 30 of them were false. From the extent of his fortune to recent business agreements to the number of individuals on his payroll, he lied about everything. Some of the claims were exaggerated. Some of the distortions were intentional. Some of them were outright falsehoods. All of this is now documented in court records. This is significant since Trump's campaign is based on the delivery of unpleasant realities. He even made a point of dubbing Ted Cruz Lion Ted throughout the primaries. The New York Times published a comment from a member of John Kasich's campaign staff in July 2016 that had troubling implications. They stated Trump's long-term political strategy is to pass over the presidency to his vice president following the election. Trump had offered Kasich the position of vice president, according to the source. Kasich was asked by Trump's team whether he wanted to be history's most powerful vice president. He'd be in charge of both home and foreign affairs. Meanwhile, President Trump's sole responsibility would be to make America great again. In other words, Kasich would have become president and Trump would have served as a self-serving figurehead. If true, this is quite reckless. It implies that Trump intends to win and then retire. Aside from being unusual, it would also include deceiving the people and utilizing a serious election like the presidential election to play games. Trump has been accused of racism for more than 4 decades. The Department of Justice sued Trump and his father in 1973 for refusing to rent to black people. Despite the fact that Trump never admitted fault, he was required to sign a pledge promising not to discriminate against black people in the future. 2 Trump casinos were accused of ejecting black customers from the casino floor while high rollers were present in the 1980s. 1 casino was penalized after being found guilty. According to a book published in 1991, Trump asserted that laziness was a black attribute. The charges are still flying around. Trump ran a full-page advertisement in New York City in 1989, asking for the murder of 4 black teens accused of raping a white lady in Central Park. Later, all 4 were judged to be innocent. The capacity to discern between genuine, real-world issues and hysterical internet conspiracy theories is a key prerequisite for President Donald Trump falls short of this criterion. He has regularly proclaimed his personal conviction in complete rubbish throughout the years. Trump famously embraced the birther notion that Obama was not born in the United States. Trump has also asserted that climate change is a Chinese plot to undermine American industry, that vaccinations cause autism in children, that Ted Cruz's father assassinated JFK, and that Justice Antonin Scalia was assassinated. Trump also believes that the unemployment rate in the United States is 42%. But that the true statistic is suppressed to make Obama appear good. For the record, it's something around 5%. These are not typical beliefs for a presidential contender. At best, they demonstrate Trump's naivete. They reveal, at the very least, that he is intentionally unstable. Trump has hailed Russian President Vladimir Putin as a strong leader, implying that Obama should emulate him, and urging the Kremlin to hack Hillary Clinton's emails. Trump's campaign manager, Paul Manafort, accepted huge sums of money from Russia-backed countries when he was delivering his most pro-Putin sound bites. Trump eventually fired Manafort, but the ties between the 2 men continue. Many shady ties between Trump's enterprises and Russian interests related to the Kremlin have been uncovered by time. Trump appears to be almost inextricably linked to Putin's Russia, as evidenced by multiple commercial ventures partly financed by Russian racketeering and key Trump staffers affiliated to Putin's inner circle. Even probable links to Russian crime were revealed by time. Well, this is the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and comment your thoughts down below, and also don't forget to subscribe. As always, thanks for watching.